Is the Constitution still relevant? This is a very good question and could be taken either way at first glance, but with deeper thought, there's one clear and definite answer. No. The Constitution is no longer relevant. I'm not saying that this is not an important document, or it was not the foundation of our country, just that it is no longer completely relevant to today's society. Back in 1787, when the Founding Fathers first wrote the Constitution, it was an excellent piece of legislation and a great backbone for our country. 225 years ago, there was no way that any man could predict that we would have computers, cell phones, cars, assault rifles, social networking, missiles that we can control with computers, satellites, and nuclear weaponry. No one ever thought about global warming or so many people illegally entering the country. Wars were fought man to man, not by small operations or armed drones flown by computers thousands of miles away. There's just no way possible for anyone to predict such a thing. When you write something that sets laws controlling an entire country, you need to take into consideration the technology and resources that you have. These things change over time and do not stay the same. This is not to say that they wrote a bad constitution or that it was not outstanding at that time. There's just no way possible for them to know. And although many people might say that we need to keep with tradition or that it's the backbone of our nation, we need to have a piece of legislation that accounts for today's times. This is nothing against our founding fathers, but things just need to be updated. Example is the right to bear arms. If this was a constitutional right, then there should be no argument, no new laws controlling guns, or any of such nature. But this is a major problem in today's society. This amendment was written so that people could protect themselves against enemy soldiers and protect their own territory. Guns now are used in robberies, murders, and mass shootings. Some people want them just to protect themselves from people in their own society. There are no wars or revolutions going on in our backyard in today's times, so the reason for this law being written has completely changed. Since the Constitution, there have been so many other changes in our government too. Slavery has been abolished, women now have the right to vote, there was prohibition, and then it went away. There have been nuclear wars, automobiles have taken over, global climate change is a huge issue, and there are several other issues. As times change, so do our problems, so do our issues. At the time that this was written, they were mostly concerned with gaining freedom, establishing a new country, and protecting each and every citizen. Right now, our country's big concerns are things like healthcare, foreign policy, illegal immigrants, same-sex marriage, and the big one, our nation's debt. The Constitution was a great piece of legislation, and still is really, really important to our country's history, but is no longer relevant to today's society, and it is completely okay to change laws to fit today's way of life.